Alright, so a while back I did some Smith's patches, which I shared, which are on the GT-100, and got some good response on those, so I thought I'd share some of the Morrissey songs that have some unique sounds that I like playing, either at home or with my Smith's tribute band in St. Louis. We'll start out with Suede Head. Also, off camera I've got an ES-137, a Gibson guitar, and then a Vox AC-15 amplifier, which I'm using. So this one's pretty simple in the chain. I just have a crunch overdrive with a drive of 25, effect level of 45. And I increased the tone a little bit just because the guitar tends to be a little mellow. So for the overdrives with that guitar, I'll usually bump up the tone a little bit. And then what makes that song unique was the tremolo effect, which you have on the intro, and then that main riff starting out. So for that one, I listened as close as I could to the recording, and I think I got pretty close with it. With the wave shape of 100, I got a rate of 76, depth of 70, and level of 50 on there. And then during the song, I just turned the tremolo off for the chorus and the bridge there, and then usually have the tremolo on for the rest of it. So there's Suede Head. Next I'm going to go to Jack the Ripper. This is a fun one. I modeled that after the Beethoven Was Deaf recording, so it's a live version of that, which is very different from the studio. And I got quite a bit going on here. So I've got a compressor at the beginning. I like the light comp. Sustain of 50, no attack on it because I don't want to squeeze those notes, and a level of 45. And that's useful for playing that lead line over the Crash Into My Arms refrain. And then got Tube Screamer overdrive here with a drive of 45, again 5 on the tone and a level of 60. And I really cut the bottom out on most of the overdrives with this guitar since it's got a pretty boomy bass end to it. Then some direct mix. It takes some of the edge off some overdrives, which may come across harsh when you play them live. FX2 is not on right now, but that's the flanger. So there's the sound you get at the beginning on that live version. So muted strums with that. I also will sometimes use the phrase loop to record that part and then go into those big chords at the beginning. While you have that flanger going on behind it. Then for the that lead line over the refrain, and then for the big slide or a pick scrape, I use a control assign, where essentially just doing it for a solo effect. So for the first one, I've got the FX1, which is going to turn on another overdrive just to add a little bit for the solo. And I'm going to increase the delay level from 20 to 50, or excuse me, from 50 to 70 when I click that on, and increase the delay feedback 20 to 30. So 3 things going on with that control assign. Turning on the FX1, that's the sub OD. over here, which I just used the fat distortion, no drive on it, effect level of 55, just to give me a little extra, and I'll hit it here, for this part of it. So that was the solo tone for Jack the Ripper, and I also use it for the, I use a slide on my pinky for that part. And you'll hear it on that live version if you play that. Okay. There's Jack the Ripper. Now we'll go to Irish Blood, English Heart. Don't play this one with the band yet, but I would love to. For this patch, I essentially do an A, B, for the verse part, and then the big power chords for the chorus. So starting off with the verse part, I use the OD1, drive a 5, level of 55. Caught a little bit of the bottom there. And then for the delay, I've got it as dotted 8th note, which sounds right to me when then you tap it in with the recording with a strong effect sound, 75, but you don't want too many repeats, so just 10 on that. So then I use the A-B switch on the in manual mode to go to those big chords for the chorus. So up there I've got the sub-OD under FX1 with the fat distortion, drive at 10, level of 50. Oops, that was a noise suppressor. And I don't do much else with it. I got the sound I wanted, and I go ahead and play. And then I add a different delay in that path. Since I don't want the dotted quarter, I'm just going to go for or dotted 8th note. I'm just going to go for a quarter note, feedback a 30, level of 70. That gives a nice big sound to it when you lock in with that delay. I'll cover EQ here. I cut the low again since this is a boomy guitar, and the highs a little bit because I have a very bright amp. Global EQ, I cut the 800 hertz, and I did that on global, and everything I play sounds better. The other guitar I use is a Rickenbacker 12 string. It also sounds a lot better with a very narrow cut at 800. I was doing that on each patch, it seemed like, and I just thought, well, why don't I try it globally, and then I free up another EQ band for that EQ stomp box in here. So on this one I cut out the 630, fairly narrow, minus 16. That's also part of this guitar will get a little muddy sometimes, so that's where I like to cut. And the reverb, I like the Hall 2 reverb here. It gives a nice big sound, especially for that chorus. And then pre-delay of 100 that keeps your notes you're playing from getting buried and washed out in the reverb, level of 50. I use reverb on all the patches a little bit. I didn't talk about it on the others since that's really not what's making the patch, so to speak. So let me go to manual mode and switch to A-B just for the sound of those big chorus part. And then just back to the verse part. Irish blood. And one more song I'll throw in here. I haven't memorized it all yet, but it's got some... It's my favorite on the new record, and uses some effects that I haven't used very much, so I'll show you how you can use those here. Starting off that chain with an overdrive, a tube screamer, drive a 20, effect level a 70, and a little extra on the tone. Cut a little bit of the bottom, and then I hear a rotary sound in there, especially on the pre-chorus, where it goes something like this on the staircase of the university. And you can even use it in the verse if you want to. I don't think it's as loud there, but... You don't get 3 A's. And then I have a delay on at 420, feedback of 20, and a level of 50. It's probably around a quarter note for that song. And then again, I use the room reverb on this one with effect level of 70. But for I use control assigns here. So what those are going to do is it's going to turn on the compressor where I get a lot of sustain with a level of 60. I'm using the Boss comp there. A little extra on the tone for that one. And then it's also going to turn on the harmonist, which I think sounds pretty cool. I'll go ahead and switch to manual mode here. It's going to turn on the harmonist. And so that control assign turns on the compressor, mainly for the sustain, turns on the harmonist to add a third interval above that, which I can sort of hear on the record. And anyway, it's kind of fun to use it when it does fit. And it sounds okay, even though I think it's an oboe part on the real song, but just so you can do something on guitar to play that really nice piece in there. So you want the plus third in the key of F, and I have no pre-delay. I want that harmonist to kick on as soon as I hit the note, and I've got that at a level of 25 and a direct mix of 80, so kind of subtle in there, not too much. And then also that control assign is going to turn off the rotary effect during that part. So if I hit the control assign here, you can see how it's kicking rotary off, harmonist on, and then the compressor on. And I got a little noise on that compressor. I might have it too high, but I wanted it to cut through when I was playing the song. So there's Staircase of the University. Great tune off the new record, and fun to play with these different sounds that are in it. To set up those controls, got to turn it on. I'm using the Excel control pedal, FX2, which was, I think that was the harmonist. And you're just toggling it on and off. And for the next one, compressor turns it on and off. And then FX1 turns it off. That being the rotary. So there's Staircase of the University.